is Friday and it's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna go into a bit of woo and metaphysics. Now, I don't normally engage in woo and metaphysics. I like to keep it grounded, I like to keep it real, but in fact, actually, everything I'm talking about is metaphysical in the sense of I've been talking about masculinity, I've been talking about shame, emotional intelligence. They're all invisible realms. They're not physical. Nothing I talk about is physical. Everything I'm talking about is metaphysical. So let's get into alignment. Let's talk about abundance. Let's talk about metaphysics, and let's have a great Friday. Here we go. Let's start. Boom. Check this out. Let's start here. When you can do more with less, you need less to get more. Let me repeat that because it's a really important, it's one of the most fundamental codes, rules, instruction manual steps of the universe. When you can do more with less, you need less to get more. I've been staring at that. Literally, I've been staring at that for months since I first heard it. I actually heard it from an interdimensional being known as Bashar. Now, that's for a different time. That's like woo 10x, 1000x. There's a guy called Daryl Ankar in the States, and he has been channeling this interdimensional being, or at least claiming to channel this interdimensional being called Bashar, which is Arabic for messenger. And he says when you can do more with less, you need less to get more. How awesome is that? Well, first we need to unpack it. We need to understand it. Again, we need to come to a comprehension of it that is embodied, that is felt, and it is experienced, and then we can live it. No point staying up here. No point just thinking about it. We're going to be thinking about our thinking until the thinking becomes feeling, and then the feeling becomes action, because that's how it works, and we know that's how that works. Thoughts create feelings, create actions. It's not the other way round. We often think it's the other way round. We convince ourselves that we're logical, rational creatures and that we have a thought and then we take action on that thought. It's not true. Sorry, it's just not true. We have a feeling, we have an emotional response to things. We then justify that feeling, and then when we take action on the feeling, then we justify it. Evidence abounds for this. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into evidence. It's Friday. It's fun. When you can do more with less, you need... Start that again. When you can do more with less, you need less to get more. When you can do more with less. Well, what is less? Let's start with what we have. When we can do more with what we have, when we can appreciate what we have, then it appreciates. What you appreciate appreciates. When you can do more with less, when you can appreciate what you have. How do you appreciate? Gratitude. And it's not gratitude here. It's not just saying it. It's not a gratitude journal. I'm not really a big fan of that. Gratitude needs to come from the heart. It needs to be felt. How do you practice gratitude? Well, I don't know. That's a huge question, isn't it? Let's not get into that. No, let's get into that. How do you practice gratitude? I start with my own inner worth. I start with the logical side of it, I suppose. I start with thinking about like how incredibly worth and worthy my life is. Like, that's no small thing. That's no small thing, is it? Like, we in our society, if you're watching this, then you've got a computer or a phone and internet. Oh my God, that's like incredible. What a world we live in, where we can connect with other people around the world in an instant. It's bananas. It's totally bananas. Like, technology is incredible. Here's something cool. Technology means language. It literally means language. Language is the original technology. Tech meaning craft, ology coming from the Greek logos, logic, the word. So it's the craft of words. Technology is magic. Our voices are the technology of magic. Anyway, that's like, let's just put that aside. When we give our intention, when we give our focus, when we give our attention to what we already have and we appreciate it, we appreciate what we already have, then it expands and we get that reflection back from reality of that expansion. So we can take whatever we've got and we can appreciate it. And when we appreciate it, we become more simply by appreciating it, simply by giving love and attention to something that is already in our life. Could be a person, could be a dog, could be an item, could be a phone, could be a speaker, could be a microphone. It's super cool, right? So it's super cool because there's no such thing as scarcity in nature. There's no such thing as scarcity in nature. You look at the abundance of nature. You look at a fruit tree, look at an apple tree, from a tiny seed to literally thousands upon thousands of apples over a span of a lifetime. There is no scarcity in nature. It is a human creation. It is a human idea. And we have taken that idea. I have taken that idea and I have embodied it, and then I have felt it, and then I have lived it, which means I have, like so many people, when it comes to the realm of money, I have chased money. I've wanted to chase money for the sake of having, because I think I haven't got enough, that more is better, and that's just the way it is. I haven't got enough, more is better, it's just the way it is. It's not true. Money needs to flow, just like anything else. When we get into alignment, we're in a flow. And when we're using what we have and we're in a flow with that, things come and go, things move in and out of our lives, and we are in alignment with the things that we want, the things that we value, the things that we care about the most. Then the flow of stuff, the flow of things, the flow of money is contributing to that value, to what we are committed to being and bringing forth in our lives. A scarcity mindset, which is the same and parallel to a victim mindset, is that life is happening to us, not for us. So then we want to hoard, we want to protect. And that is a losing battle. That doesn't get us anywhere. That is just no fun. Get into alignment, which means trusting yourself fully, that you are this like infinite being, that having this incredibly bananas experience. Like, you've got a couple of these, I've got a couple of these. Look what we can do with these. This is amazing. We can do stuff with this. Anyway, I can get a little bit sidetracked when talking metaphysics because my body goes into this weird, like, expansive state where I become the entire universe. Soz. Trust yourself. Let go of pressure. Isn't it a funny thing that when we feel anxious and when we feel like we're not doing enough, we work harder and harder because the ego, the mind, the storytelling machine mind says you're not doing enough. So naturally, you try and do more to do enough, where that's such an interesting paradoxical nature of the human mind, because the proper, the correct, the efficient, the effective solution to that is actually to stop, to create space and clarity, to let the dirt of the ego settle, and then space and clarity, and then the creative ideas and the productive, the energy flows again. I've always found it really fascinating, really weird that when I feel like I'm not doing enough, I try and do more, and it's the most counterintuitive thing that I could do, because when I stop, when I pause, and I'm still learning that, and I think I'm always getting better. But when I pause, when I notice a little bit of a frazzling going on in my body, and I start to slow down, take a nap, go for a walk, turn my laptop off, the space and the clarity is 95% of the time the solution arises. So that's an interesting one. So learn to trust yourself, which means learning to let go of pressure and obligation. And I think so many of us, I've ran so much of my life on pressure, on obligation, on shoulds, on conditioning, on what I think I should be doing to please dad. Okay, yeah, that's basically it. Like work harder. And actually, if I look at all my successes, all my achievements, all my wins, all my even all the things that have come into my life, they've come from when I'm in alignment, when I'm in flow, when I'm giving out, when I'm receiving, when I'm moving through the world in a flow state, in alignment. And that comes from learning to trust myself. That comes from doing a little bit of inner work. It doesn't have to be like some crazy bonkers 20-year psychotherapy journey. Just being curious, looking at my patterns, looking at my behaviors, connecting the dots between what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking, learning what my triggers are, what's pissed me off, tracing it back. Curiosity, staying open and receptive. That's how we learn who we are. That's how we become and we expand. Not by doing anything more, but by appreciating what we have now, what we have outside and what we have inside. Be curious. Learn to be receptive. So be receptive to life. When we're not receptive, we tend to have our blinkers on. I tend to have my blinkers on. I tend to look at life in a very linear, narrow-minded way. This is what I need to do to get to here. This is what that will lead to. And that closing down of all the potential other infinities of reality that could be coming my way are closed off. I can't see them. I need to be receptive to it all. So that's a process of letting go. Trusting yourself, letting go. Letting go basically, fundamentally means relaxing. It means relaxing. What a relief. What an incredible space to be, that we don't have to hustle so hard and work so hard all of the time. And I've mentioned this before. I like effortful work. I like focused work. But staying open and receptive. Open, receptive, and curious. And the more I am open, the more I am receptive, the more I am curious, the more my life becomes a piece of performance art. And I can get into that piece of performance art by being the artist and the art piece itself. And I can be excited by whatever this reality has got to show me. Because everything becomes a piece of that puzzle, a piece of that art, something to learn, something that will increase my understanding of who and what I am as a unique co-creating expression of the multidimensional crystal of all that there is. So where are we? This is another interesting thing. Stop chasing the dream. Stop chasing the dream. Again, and I speak to myself, we all have dreams. It's natural for us to dream. We live in a society, we live in a culture, we live in a story, a collective story of transformation, of the hero's journey, of going from A to B, of moving forward. Dreams are beautiful. It's important to have, I think it's important to have goals and visions and ambitions, and to put those out there, and then to let them go. Then to let them go and be open, curious, and receptive. When I chase the dream, again, I've got my blinkers on. I can't see what else is trying to come in to my life. But chasing the dream is problematic, because the dream is a limited view, a limited vision using the mind. And the actual how it's going to come in is usually very unpredictable, unpredicted. In fact, if it's predicted, it's already here. It's already within our field. It has to come from out here in the periphery. It has to. Otherwise, if we know it, if we can predict it, it's already in that linear thinking. It's in the mind. And when we let go, we can allow synchronicity. Open, curious, and receptive. Very, very, very big points. We're not taught that at school. Do you remember that lesson at school? I mean, I certainly don't. Open, curious, and receptive, and allowing our language to work for us. We want to be careful because it's our language that creates that narrowed vision. It's my language that creates that narrow vision. Here's an example. Here's a great example, a little game that I created. I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good enough. Man, I used to say those a lot. I have said them so much to myself in the whispering caverns of my psyche. Certainly they're my, excuse me, they are the voice of my inner critic. And when I'm a little bit run down, a little bit tired, a little bit ill, a little bit dysregulated, that's the voice I hear. I'm not good enough. You're not good enough, Nick. You can't do this. You don't know what you're doing. Internalized voice from Dad. Thanks, Dad. It's okay. I don't say that with bitterness. I get it. I get it. It was passed down to him. He never did that work. What a blessing that I get to do that work. What a blessing. What an incredible gift that I get to see it. I get to see it. I get to transform. I get to do that work. What an incredible challenge to have these words and sentences and stories, these life sentences in my stories, and I get to catch them like a ninja, like a ninja Jedi. You're not good enough, Nick. You can't do this. You don't know what you're doing. Man alive, I've heard that so many times from in here. And it's closed. It's victim narrative. It's life is happening to you. That creates pressure, creates obligation, that creates hustle, hard work, tightness, tension, nowhere to go. Where's there to go? Where's the imagination? Where's the vision on that? It's nowhere. It's nowhere. So what I do now is when I hear those words, I've conditioned myself and I continue to condition myself, which means I continue to practice. I continue to think about my thinking. Every time I hear those words, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good enough. I stick the word yet on the end, or I repeat the word, I repeat the phrase and I put yet. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I can't do this yet. I'm not good enough yet. Changes the landscape, changes the imagination, changes my posture, changes my breath, changes how I feel. Okay, might not be perfect, but now it's like there's a forward momentum. I don't know how to do this yet. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's a journey. It's a process. So much of our language is based in nouns. The English language especially is so limited to nouns, objects, things in space and time. Whereas language is more verb. We language ourselves into being. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Okay, my imagination completely now is faced forward. There's somewhere to go. Okay, well, what can I do about that? Life happening for me. Life happening to me. There's a 1 degree, half a degree separation between victim language, victim mindset, and victor mindset. Victor or confident mindset. Remember, mindset is the story you tell yourself. Mindset is the story you tell yourself. How brilliant is that? That's the Enlifted definition of mindset. Go check them out, their choice. We can do so much with that definition. And it's so simple. What a story is made of? They're made of words. So what is mind made of? Mind is made of words. I might say that mind is made of breath and words. Change 1 or 2 of those, you change your mind. You change your words, you change your mind, you change your breath, you change your mind. Simple, but not easy, because we're so hardwired with habitual language. Abundance, alignment allows us to take what we have, appreciate it more, and then it expands. So there's less effort, there's less mental strain. When I can do more with less, I need less to do more. Now we're starting to understand what this means. It's in the language, it's in the vision, it's in our words. When I can appreciate more with what I have. I can't do this yet. I can appreciate that. I've got more to learn. Great. I love learning. Learning is so good. I learn every day. I can't do this. Great. I can't do this yet. Great. That's amazing. I can't do this yet. That means it's worth doing. That means I can appreciate what I've got, appreciate what I do know. I can be grateful for that. When I'm grateful, there's an easefulness in my body. I come back into myself. I'm not running on pressure and obligation. I'm not tensing up. That space, that clarity. Then I allow the infinite wisdom within me to come through and to show me what the next step is. I only ever need to know the first and the next step. That's it. That's cool. And it's important to make a plan. It's important to have a goal. I believe that. And then to let it go. To move forward and to let it go. It's paradoxical. It doesn't actually make any sense, right? Move forward and let go. Have a plan and let go. That's in being in a state of allow. That's being open, curious, and receptive. When you can do more with less, you need less to do more. Let me check the time. Great. We're done. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Go do amazing stuff. Go dance and go sing. It's Friday. Dance and sing. Blessings.